From when I first decided to wake up this morning, go for a run, and eat my food, my body was buzzing with electrical energy. Now, I don't mean I'm so excited electrical energy. I mean electrical impulse energy. This is what got me to move my legs, chew my food, and think to wear my clothes and go for a run. This electrical energy, or all these electrical impulses, are exactly what keep me alive every single day. But you guys probably already know that. The real question here is, how do these electrical impulses form in our bodies, and where do they even come from? The best place to start is probably the sodium-potassium pump. This mechanism polarizes the neuron by sustaining a difference in charges between the inside and the outside of the neuron. For every 3 sodium ions it pumps out, it brings in 2 potassium ions. This leaves the inside of the neuron with a relatively negative charge and the outside more positive. Don't get me wrong though, these charges are still comprised of positive ions. This electrical gradient across the neuron is called resting potential and amounts to about -70 millivolts. Ion channels in our membranes. These are proteins that are a passageway for ions to move in and out. Some are mechanically gated and only open when physically distorted. Some are voltage gated and open and close depending on the voltage of the neuron. Others are ligand gated and only open when stimulated by a ligand, for example a hormone or a neurotransmitter. So now that we know what's what, the fun begins. Let's say an ant talks on your skin. Your mechanically gated ion channels open and let all those sodium ions in. This makes the neuron slightly more positive and pushes its membrane potential to -55 millivolts to start the impulse. Then the sodium ion channels open and allow even more sodium ions to enter, pushing the neuron's voltage up until +70 millivolts. This is called depolarization and is the action potential. In an attempt to repolarize and get the neuron back to normal, potassium ion channels open. This allows potassium ions to flow out of the cell and stops the action potential. The inside of the membrane becomes negative again. There's a problem though. At some point the neuron becomes too polarized, and we call this state being hyperpolarized. The sodium-potassium pump comes in to balance this by moving 3 sodium ions out and 2 potassium ions in and returning the neuron back to resting state. When action potential depolarizes the membrane and makes it positive, it activates other sodium channels next to the initial one and changes surrounding voltages of other channels. A wave of depolarization spreads from one point and the impulse moves. So that's all it is about how impulses and action potential moves through each individual neuron in our body.